So Season 6, Episode 5 starts out with Lord Peter Baelish arriving at Castle Black with the Knights of the Vale to offer his assistance to Sansa. He said he didn't know about Ramsay, but should we believe him? This is a really tough one. On one hand, it seems like Littlefinger sees Sansa as the second coming of Catelyn, and we all know he would never do anything to put Cat in harm's way. But on the other hand, this guy is one of the most cunning and ruthless characters in Game of Thrones.
A man with no motive is a man no one suspects.
Always keep your foes confused. If they don't know who you are or what you want, they can't know what you plan to do next. I have only loved one woman. Only one. My entire life. Your sister.
In spite of all these things, I think we can assume he didn't know Ramsay was an absolute psychopath, and it was an honest mistake on his part. He might have known Ramsay was a little crazy, but he probably thought Roose Bolton would be able to control him. Littlefinger also reveals that Brynden Tully, the guy who lucked out and escaped the Red Wedding, has taken back River Run with the remaining Tully forces. They will definitely need his help to take back Winterfell, and I'm also sure we haven't seen the last of Peter Baelish, as he places great importance on staying in the good graces of Sansa. So we finally get to see some action with the Arya storyline. Jaqen H'ghar gives her an assignment to kill Lady Crane, an actress who ironically plays Cersei in a play. He's also getting more serious with her training, stating, "One way or another, a face will be added to the hall." But it is clear that Arya does not want to kill the woman as she has done nothing wrong. When she's asked about her commitment, Arya says, "A girl has decided." I think there's a slight possibility Arya has decided to turn on the faceless men, but that may be grasping at straws. But in the end, I find it really hard to believe that Arya kills the innocent woman, and I think we'll see her trying to find a way around it. Next, we found out about how the Night King was created in a pretty gruesome scene, and although it's a pretty interesting fact, I don't think there's much relevance to the main storyline. Back in the Iron Islands, Yara Greyjoy tries to seize control of the kingdom, but Euron arrives and she really doesn't stand a chance as no woman has ever ruled. Euron also brings up a pretty interesting plan of building a huge fleet, sailing to Daenerys Targaryen, and conquering the Seven Kingdoms. Euron has initiated King the Ironborn way by almost drowning, and they put a seriously shitty looking crown of sticks on his head, and when he realizes Yara and Theon aren't there, he remarks, "Let's go murder them." But there's just one problem. Yara, Theon, and company have already taken what seems to be like a huge number of ships with them. Euron then tells his people to go back to their houses and chop down some trees, because he wants 1,000 ships. There was like 50 of them, how are they going to build 1,000 ships? Balon Greyjoy is right, Euron really is out of his mind. So where are Yara and Theon going? Well, the Iron Islands are basically out of the question, and so is anywhere in Westeros, which leaves Essos as the most likely destination. And who do we know that's in Essos? That's right, Daenerys Targaryen. They probably thought Euron had a pretty damn good plan of going to Meereen and forging an alliance with the Mother of Dragons, and getting there ASAP is priority number 1 for them. I'm excited to see how they'll fit in with Daenerys, and having 3 eunuchs in the same room will be interesting. Maybe we'll even see Daenerys sailing to Westeros sooner rather than later, although it definitely won't happen this season. The next scene was a pretty heartfelt one, as we see Daenerys visibly sad when she learns Jorah is infected with grayscale. She orders him to find a cure, but I'm not too worried. I'm pretty positive we haven't seen the last of Jorah the Andal. This was a pretty damn good episode as we got to meet the new Red Priestess, Kinvara. Although she's super hot, I wasn't too excited knowing what she really looks like. Kinvara seems to think that Daenerys is a Azor Ahai reborn, and there definitely can be an argument made for that. She was born on Dragonstone, an island amidst salt, and was reborn in the funeral pyre amidst smoke, and in the morning the red comet appeared in the sky, when the stars bleed. Although it is possible she is a Azor Ahai reborn, I still think Jon Snow is a better candidate for being the chosen one. You can watch my video on this theory here. So, Bran fucks up big time, but I don't really blame him as it's mostly the Three-Eyed Raven's fault. He doesn't really tell Bran shit about his powers, how to use them, or what the fuck he's actually supposed to be doing. The Three-Eyed Raven tries to take the Mr. Miyagi route and ease Bran into everything, but his plan ends up backfiring horribly as the Night King is alerted to their whereabouts. The Three-Eyed Raven's reaction to everything was pretty funny though.
But am I ready?
No.
Back at Castle Black, they agree that to take back Winterfell, they need more help from northern families, and Sansa informs everyone that her great-uncle Brynden Tully has taken back River Run, although she lies about the source of the information. This is yet another sign that Sansa is learning how to play the Game of Thrones more skillfully. but I don't know if lying to Jon was the right move, as she doesn't really have much to gain from it. She then sends Brienne to Riverrun to enlist the help of the Blackfish, and Brienne expresses her displeasure because she doesn't trust most of the people there, especially the wildling fellow with the beard. I think this may be a sign Brienne likes Tormund, but because she's never gotten any attention from a guy before, she just doesn't know how to react. Tormund definitely needs to make a move before it's too late. People don't live for that long in the Game of Thrones. Y'all know what happens in the next scene, the most depressing part of the whole season. So for some reason, they're all still chilling under the tree with Bran and the Three-Eyed Raven warging. Seriously, why the fuck didn't they just leave as soon as they found out the Night King touched Bran? I guess they thought it was more important to cook some eggs than get away to safety, and obviously the Night King shows up with his whole army.
I want an egg. How'd you like them? Boiled? Fried up with some butter?
Hodor.
The children of the forest were able to slow them down a little bit with their firebombs, but there was just way too many. One interesting thing I caught was that the Night King just extinguished the fire by walking over it like it was nothing. This may prove troublesome in coming episodes, as it was widely thought that fire was his weakness. Maybe it still is his weakness, but since the fire was so tiny it didn't really affect him. It does however stop the Whites, which means that fire is definitely their vulnerability. So what really happened in the final scene with Hodor? I'll try to explain this time travel paradox the best I can. So I think Bran somehow warged into present-day Hodor through young Hodor while in Greensight. You can see this happening as Bran looks at young Hodor in his vision, and his eyes in the present day go white. Then, as Bran and Mira escape, she says, "Hold the door," and we can see in Bran's vision that young Hodor stops what he's doing and looks straight at Bran. I believe that phrase set off a switch in young Hodor's brain, sort of like deja vu, and he experiences the trauma of being killed by the Whites, which is just too much for his brain to handle. The words "hold the door" are the last memory implanted into his mind, maybe as a result of the extreme trauma, or the fact that Bran warged into old Hodor through his younger self. This also explains why Hodor is so afraid of loud noises, because it reminds him of the trauma he experienced at the end of his life. That's just what I took away from the scene, but in reality when you're dealing with time travel paradoxes, it's difficult to know exactly what the hell is going on.